Ano po yung mode of initiating impeachment? Ganito po ang sinasabi ng rule of the House of Representatives. Impeachment shall be initiated by the filing and subsequent referral to the Committee of Justice. Ito po yung Sereno versus, Francisco versus House of Representatives. Verified complaint for impeachment filed by any member of the House of Representatives, i-refer po sa Committee on Justice. Verified complaint filed by any citizen upon a resolution endorsement by any member thereof, i-refer po sa Committee on Justice. A verified complaint or resolution impeachment filed by at least one-third of all members of the House, i-refer din po sa Committee on Justice. Bakit po ang ginawa nila nung makakuha sila ng higit sa one-third, dali-dali po nilang tinransmit sa Senate? Ang pagkakakala po nila, Mr. Speaker, sapagkat ang pinagbatayan po nila ay yung Rule 4 na kung saan in Section 14 sinasabi po endorsement of the complaint resolution to the Senate. Ang sinasabi lamang naman po noon, Sir President, ay yung pamamaraan kung paano po i-endorse yung impeachment complaint that was signed by one-third or even more members of the House of Representatives. Hindi naman po sinasabi doon na hindi na sa i-refer sa Committee on Justice. Bakit po nakalagay dito sa rule? Kailangan i-refer din siya sa Committee on Justice, but they never did, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President. So ilang violations na po ito? You cannot use Section 14 in isolation of Section 2. Hindi po pwede yun. Binigyan po ba ng discretion, Mr. President? Was the House given the discretion to select, to withhold and select from among the 4 impeachment complaints, which will be the one to be transmitted in the Senate in derogation of the one-year ban rule? Wala po silang discretion. Kung sila po mismo ay hindi sumusunod sa tuntunin, bakit po ngayon ay napakarami pong nagsasalita? Na parang akala mo ay ang Supreme Court pa ang nagkasala, ang nagkamali. Samantalang ito po, napakasimple po ng tuntunin, hindi kailanman sinunod. Even the 10th session day na sinasabi nila, 11th session day nung ilagay po nila sa order of business, sabi nila. They never included them in the order of business. Wala po. Nasa akin po yung kopya. Ano ba po ang pagkakamali? Mr. President, ipakita po natin yung last page ng impeachment complaint. Pakita po sa slide. Ayan po, Mr. President. Subscribed and verified before me. Sabi po ng Secretary General. Saan ba yung kopya ko rito? Subscribed and verified before me on this blank day of February 2025. Wala pa pong date eh. Ito po ba ang verification, Mr. President? Hindi po. Ang verification po ay nakasaad po sa mismong tuntunin ng House of Representatives. Balikan po natin ang Section 3. Ano po ang sinasabi? Section 3, Paragraph 2. An impeachment complaint is verified by an affidavit that the complainant has read the complaint and that the allegations therein are true and correct of his personal knowledge or based on authentic records. At the very least, yun ang dapat na ilagay po. Nakalagay po ba sa verification dito? Ng Secretary General ng House of Representatives? Wala po. Ito po'y parang jurat lang sa isang affidavit. Sinasabi lamang po dito, kilalan niya yung nagsipirma sa isang dokumento. Na ang dokumento ay naglalaman ng 32 pages. This is not the verification required under the rules of impeachment by the House of Representatives. Ang totoo po, kung balikan po natin ang Section 14, nandyan po sa slide. isinulat na po sa tuntunin kung ano po ang dapat kopyahin nila para magkaroon ng tunay na verification. Hindi pa po nila kinopya. Mr. President, ito po yung contents ng verification na dapat sana yun ang nilagay nila sa complaint. We, sabi po rito, after being sworn in accordance with law, depose and state that we are the complainants in the above entitled complaint or resolution of impeachment, that we have caused the said complaint resolution to be prepared and have read the contents thereof, and that the allegations therein are true of our own knowledge and belief on the basis of our own reading and appreciation of documents and other records pertinent thereto. Kokopyahin na lang, Mr. President. Hindi pa nakopya. Ito po, this is an impeachment complaint. You are removing the second highest official of government. Yun lamang pong verification. Sablay na po. Ano pong nakalagay dito? Section 3, paragraph 3. An impeachment complaint required to be verified which contains a verification based on informational belief or upon knowledge or information and belief or lacks proper verification, katulad po nito ngayon, shall be treated as an unsigned impeachment complaint. So pwede pong tratuhin pala ngayon. Sapagkat wala pong verification. It may be treated as unsigned impeachment complaint. Paano ngayon? Bakit magsasalita po ng napakarami? Alam po ninyo kung, Mr. President, kumbaga po sa nagluto ng sinaing, pasensya na po kayo kung kinakailangan ako po'y gagawa ng pagkahalin tulad, ano. Ang impeachment complaint po ay parang sinaing na niluto ng House of Representatives. Hilaw po eh. Hilaw na hilaw. Ano po yung hilaw sa Bicolano, Mr. President? Hilaw din po yata. Sa Bisaya, hilaw din po. Sa Kapampangan, magadto, Mr. President. Sa Waray po, matagudtod. Sa Ilonggo po, lagdos. Sa Ilocano, marakusol. Sana po tama ang aking pagkaka-pronounce. Ang dami na pong nagsipagsalita. Samantalang hindi po nila nakita. Ang dami, kayo po nagsimula ng mali. Hindi naman po sinasabi ng Korte Suprema na kailanman ay huwag kayong mag-impeach, huwag na kayong mag-file. Ayusin nyo lang po eh. Yun lamang po ang gustong mangyari dito. Ayusin nyo. You want to impeach the Vice President, do it in the right way. Hindi naman po tinignan ng merito eh. Ang sinasabi, yung proseso, hindi po nyo sinunod eh. Sinasabi na nga, walang impeachment complaint bukod sa isa. Laban sa isang opisyal sa loob ng isang akalain mo namang 4 po kagad ang ipinay. Pagkatapos yung 4, i-consider mo na isa. Hindi naman po yata tama yun, Mr. President. Mr. President, gusto ko pong basahin isang parte ng official statement of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines and the Supreme Court's decision in Duterte versus House of Representatives, August 1, 2025. And I quote, "Disagreement with the court's reasoning is neither unwelcome nor unexpected. Dissent is not foreign to a democracy. It is essential to its survival. But to incite public repudiation of its authority, or even just to call for its outright defiance, erodes the very foundation of the legal order. Such actions disturb the equilibrium of powers and imperil the integrity of our democratic institutions, especially when appropriate legal remedies remain available within the framework of our constitutional system. First ruling becomes an invitation to disobey. The law ceases to be a constraint on power and becomes its casualty. The Constitution does not require agreement. It demands adherence." Ang sinasabi po ng mga ibang kasama natin, magpapile pa naman ng motion for reconsideration. Bakit hindi natin hintayin? As I said, Mr. President, if you are a practicing lawyer worth your salt, you are confronted with the unanimous decision of the Supreme Court. In a firm voice, it says this is unconstitutional, void ab initio, violative of due process, and the Senate never acquired jurisdiction over this. And it is immediately executory. Parang sinasabi niya sa'yo, wala ka ng room mag-file niyan. Is anyone expecting that even one soul of the members of the Supreme Court will reverse himself? We cannot depend our action, Mr. President, on the fortunes of litigation. Naalala ko pa nga po doon sa kaso ng Francisco versus House of Representatives, the former Chief Justice, Renato Puno, in his separate concurring opinion, naalala ko po ang sabi niya, with the possibility of 2 impeachment complaints reaching the Senate, the good Chief Justice said that the Senate, in the exercise of its primary jurisdiction, can decide the question of whether or not the 1-year bar rule has been violated or not. The Senate can even decide if on its face the impeachment complaint has no legal basis. At ang sabi pa po niya doon, Francisco versus House of Representatives, sabi pa niya roon if the Senate finds that the 1-year bar rule is violated or that the impeachment complaint has no legs to stand on, that will be the end of the entire controversy. He was saying that let's give all the remedies available to the House and the Senate because of their primary jurisdiction. But when the case is ripe for judicial determination, it was the view of the former Chief Justice that the Supreme Court at that time, and only at that time, when it can speak with great moral authority in order to compel the loyalty, the respect, and the obedience of our people. Mr. President, when the Supreme Court negates the actions of a co-equal branch of government, it does not assert its superiority. Instead, it upholds the supremacy and the dominance of the fundamental law of the land, the Constitution. And so the Supreme Court has already spoken. The last arbiter of law, it says the complaint is unconstitutional, is void ab initio, is violative of due process. The Senate never acquired jurisdiction over this. It is immediately executory. On that note, Mr. President, I respectfully move that the impeachment complaint be dismissed.